Okay, so you want to figure out how many frames you need before you set up your animation. Because if you don't, if you change it later, it does say rescale time, but sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work very well. It's best to figure this out initially. So in the video that follows this, I'm going to show you how to do how to figure out your time. So say I want to change how many frames I have. Right now my end time is 100. That means I have 101 frames. So I'm going to change this to 300 because say that's what I've calculated that I need. I'm going to hit rescale time and say OK. Now when I play my animation, it didn't rescale it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, for every time I create an animation, you're going to get this little keyframe indicator. As of right now, because I initially set this up at 100 frames, my camera is going to 100 frames and then it's doing nothing for the next 300. If I want to change this, all I have to do is, you see how when I move my cursor over that keyframe, that marker, it changes. I can click and now I can scale it all the way to the end. So that now when I play my animation, the camera is moving, it's still moving. Whoops, didn't move with it, did it? On the camera. Because the keyframes are associated. Okay, let's try it again. Let's scale it to 300. Each keyframe is assigned to each object. So when I click on the camera, it's going to have different keyframes than if I click on the character. He's not moving. So when I click on him, you see these are his keyframes. Those are keyframes assigned to his animation, to his motion. So for the camera, you see I have keyframes that are assigned to the camera. And this one is for the first camera. So if I move those keyframes for that object, it will rescale them. It didn't work when I told it to on the other one. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. So this is my second camera, my walkthroughs 2, and you can see it should work now. Play this out. There we go. You see it slowed down significantly. Now, for some reason, it's not looking at him anymore. Select it. Now, when I come over here to my walkthrough assistant, for some reason, my look at constraint is gone. What you could do is come over here to the motion tab with that camera selected, click on the motion tab right here, and come down and see where it says look at target, pick target, and now I'm going to pick my character. There we go. And now it's changed it. There's some glitch with the walkthrough assistant in 3D Studio Max where it sometimes causes that look at constraint to disappear. All you have to do is select the camera, come to your motion tab, and under that look at target, pick target and change it. So now when I play this out, my character is constantly in my scene, which is what I want. So when you guys are doing setting up your camera for your first rendered out animation, this is what you want to do. You want to use that walkthrough assistant on a path and use the look at target to look at your character, and then have it just spin around the scene like this. And you're going to want to use a minimum of 300 frames. You can use, I would say don't use more than 500. It's enough for me to see what you did. Because this is all I need to do, is I need to see an overview of your scene. And this should do it. Okay, so now let's say we've got this set up. Now what we need to do is go to the render setup, which is the teapot with the gear, and click that. Okay. Now, if for some reason you can't render, make sure this says production render mode and that this renderer says scanline renderer. And also you want to make sure you're rendering your walkthrough camera. Check those before you start and it'll help you fix any errors. We're going to save file by clicking on that. And we're going to need to tell it that we want to save it as an MOV file. It used to be that we worked with AVIs on a PC, but now you can work with MOV files. So you want to work with an MOV file. It is literally the only thing that you can send me in Blackboard that I can watch. You send me anything else, I won't be able to see it. Okay, and so now watch where it puts it. This is where it's going to put it. And as you see, it goes down a rabbit hole. So make sure you tell it, hey, I want to put this somewhere else that I know where I'm putting it because I've got everything in here. So I'm going to save it in here, move file, and I'm going to give it a name. And I highly recommend you name it by the class. Lab. And so that I don't have 8,000, give it, put your name in there. Okay, that's what you want to name it as. That way it's easy to find. You know it's your lab 1, you know it's for this class, and it's got your name on it. Okay, and then I'm going to hit save. All right. Now, what I want to do is come down here to common parameters, and you want to hit active time segment so that it renders the full scene. If you don't change this, it's only going to render that frame 0. And you will have a movie of 1 frame. And when you send that to me, I will see nothing. And unfortunately, that is the same thing as not submitting it. So make sure you have changed from single to active time segment. Okay. Area to render, view. Output size. Your default on this is that button right there. You can make it bigger or you can make it smaller. You can manually adjust these numbers. What I'm going to recommend is you stick with the default unless for some reason your render time is going to be something astronomical. Then click on this one. Don't go smaller than that because I won't be able to see it. And then the quality gets so bad that, you know, it doesn't work. Okay? So stick with your 640 to 480 when you render this out. Okay, and then for now, we can leave everything else as a default. And then hit render. And what is going to happen is, you're going to see, okay, it had some error. I don't know what the error is. Okay. Let me see if it does it under an AVI file. If you're going to use an AVI file, you absolutely positively have to use this MJPEG compressor. If you use anything else, it'll render out a black screen. Let's just see if it works with that. Okay. So for some reason, it's not allowing me to render out the MOV file. If it doesn't let you use the MOV file, then definitely go to the AVI file. Use that MJPEG compressor. And you see how what it's doing. It is literally going through every single keyframe. And you can watch it right over here. Right? It's telling you that's the frame that it is currently rendering. And it literally goes through them in succession and renders them, and then it adds them to a batch file that in the end will produce an AVI for you, in this case, or the video file for you. Now, because I can't see AVIs, and some PCs are apparently, this one isn't allowing me to create the MOV, you're going to need to create a YouTube channel and upload it to your YouTube channel and share the link from your YouTube channel with me. You guys should be doing this anyway, having a YouTube channel of your own to use to show your work to other people. But this may be the only way to get it to work, because if you submit an AVI file to me, I will not be able to open it or watch it. I have a Mac that I use to grade work, but Blackboard in general, even if I use a PC, hasn't been working. So I need you to not send me an AVI file. Won't be able to open it. You can send me a .mov file. I can watch it and open that, but I can't do anything with another file. So if you can't render out the MOV files you just saw, I can't, then go ahead and do the AVI file, use that MJPEG compressor, and then upload it to your YouTube channel. So in the video after this, I'm going to show you guys how to calculate keyframes and how to create your own YouTube channel. Okay? And that should get you through the lab. Okay. I'm going to stop this one here and continue in the next.